Please stand by for an important announcement.
You might notice the title of this particular episode is Psychotronic Avengers. This isn't the name of some hip new band that the kids are all listening to. This is because I recently got some issues of Psychotronic Video, which is sort of a magazine for film fans that came out in the 90s. Some people probably have it. I got a few issues this week, and I also got a few sets of Avengers, which sort of seems relevant since today is the big day of the Super Bowl when they unveiled the trailer for the new movie. I'm not a big Avengers scholar. These are actually some of the first ones I've ever really gotten. I do have the essentials for like the first few issues, so I have kind of a basic idea of the story, but I haven't really, sort of followed everything going on. But so anyway, I'll just go right into it. Here's Psychotronic Video number 21, and you can see it. They have like some really cool looking covers, and they just sort of do all these little features on just different aspects of cinema, a lot of older movies and B movies, things like that, a lot of stuff that I'm certainly into, probably some other people are. That's a great cover with Jan and the Pan from The Brain That Wouldn't Die, and there's some good interviews in there. I haven't read everything from all these issues, but I read there's an interview with Bruce Glover, who's the actor who's appeared in Frankenstein Meets a Space Monster, he's in Chinatown, all kinds of movies, and he is the father of Crispin Glover. And he does talk in this interview about the famous appearance of Crispin Glover on Letterman when he was almost kicked Letterman in the head. Interesting little tidbit he throws out there is that Letterman apparently went into therapy after that happened. Poor guy. So I didn't really know that. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit of trivia from the 80s. If it's true, who knows? Sometimes these are just stories. Here's a cool looking one. Actually, this one I haven't really looked into all that much, but I like the cover a lot. I like the fact that a lot of Psychotronic videos have borders. I don't know, it's the thing I always like about covers that have borders. I don't want every cover to have a border, but in this particular case I really like it, and a few other kind of comics that have them, like some of those Marvels from the early 70s, for instance, where it was just the black around the image. Kind of cool looking. Okay. Moving right along. This I love. I like the rays coming out of the eyes. It's just a cool looking cover there. And that's number 24. And okay, and this, what I've read of this so far is an interview with makeup artist Harry Thomas, who was a makeup artist through, seems like the history of all movies. It seemed like, I mean, he worked on Mae West, but he also worked on Ed Wood movies, so he was just throughout the entire history. So that was quite an interesting read. Sort of one of those fly on the wall kind of views of some of the cinema history. And last but not least is number 28. So we've got some Asphalt Jungle. This is another one I haven't read yet, but I see there's an interview with Larry Tamblyn of the Standells. Always enjoyed his work. I think he was in wait a second, I'm probably thinking of Russ Tamblyn. He is related to Russ Tamblyn, I know that, and then they're also related to that young girl, Tamblyn, who's in that show. Joan of Arcadia, is that the show I'm thinking of? Okay, so that's the Psychotronics I got. I love those, love the covers, and I just love reading about that kind of alternative cinema and all that, and they always have cool looking ads, so it's all good. Okay, so the first Avengers set that I bought was just 3 issues. It was really cheap, and is from the late 70s. So we got 178, Night of the Beast. That was a good story right there, and I do like the Beast. Beast is probably one of my favorite Avengers characters and X-Men characters. He's sort of covered the waterfront, been all over the place. And I like the idea of having Kelsey Grammer play him in X-Men Last Stand. Thought that kind of worked. Some people didn't like the movie, but I thought that the casting of him was good. This is another good one. I'll mention right here that I always kind of like, visually, I really like Yellow Jacket's costume. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something about it I do like. It's just, It's just kind of it's like an old-fashioned kind of superhero costume. It's something about it I really like. So that's a good one. And I haven't got these in bags and boards yet because I just figured they'd show up a little bit better if I just waited. So right after this video, I'll be putting them in bags and boards. Most of these are in around. They're probably very good to find, I would say. For all these issues of Avengers, I paid a total of $5.50, so it's pretty good. Okay, and this one actually, I almost swear I had this one when I was a kid. I think I did. But I read it and the story didn't seem all that familiar to me, but the cover seems really familiar. Maybe a friend of mine had it. That could be. Maybe I have it. Maybe I'll go and look and find that I actually have it there. You know, that starts to happen after a while once you've got a few thousand of these babies. Okay, this is kind of an okay cover. It's not spectacular, but it's not bad. That's for number 207. This is where the next set begins, which was of 7 issues, so 207 to 214. There's another one. Sort of, yeah, this one was pretty good. Let me get to, this is a little bit better cover. I think I like this one better. I think that one's pretty spectacular. Pretty cool looking. I like the Beast though. I think the Beast just always makes for a good cover. And despite the fact that, you know, we had a lot of angst about turning blue, it is a very arresting image to see this sort of blue werewolf looking kind of creature. And of course he has all the funny lines. So I'm kind of sorry he's not going to be in the movie, but I mean, I can only cram so many characters in there. If I did have my preferences, they'd have more female characters in the movie, but that's the way it goes. Looks like they got Black Widow in there. That's kind of okay. To me, it's a little bit like doing a Justice League movie with like Black Canary instead of Wonder Woman, but I guess that's the way it goes. Okay, so the next one is Weatherman. Just some guys upsetting the weather. Okay, here's a cover I like a lot because it's got a lot of characters on it and they're really kind of interesting looking. Once again, we have Yellow Jacket. You can see Black Widow over there next to Dazzler. And just a whole bunch of characters there. There's a really good transitional issue for those people who haven't read it. It's basically where the status quo changes from one thing to the other by the end, so they sort of shrink down the team. But this, meanwhile, has like sort of a Moon Knight and just a bunch of different characters in it, and they all sort of end up having these little mini scraps right in the middle of Avengers Mansion, which is a little bit far-fetched because no one really intervenes, but it's still fun to see, like, I think you have Angel versus Tigra. Who else? Hercules versus Wonder Man. And what was the other little fight? There's another little skirmish that goes on. Let me see here. I have to edit this part out. Oh, it's Moon Knight versus Iceman. Yeah. Which is kind of a, yeah. Okay, so yeah, at one point Moon Knight and Iceman sort of took each other on in the middle of the foyer or something, or the it's in the middle of the mansion. All kinds of whatnot going on. This is an okay issue. This one, again, we've got Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket's starting to lose his mind in the story. He's starting to really go nuts. Locking himself up in his lab and all that. And then, of course, we have this, a notorious issue, the court-martial of Yellow Jacket, and I like the cover a lot because I do like Yellow Jacket's costume. I don't know if I'd just wear that down the street, but, you know, there's something I kind of like about Dr. Pym. I mean, aside from some of the unfortunate unpleasantness that happens in this particular issue, but I sort of feel for the guy because he can't sort of seem to decide what he wants his costume or his powers to be or anything, and he just, I don't know, he's just kind of a nut. And he created Ultron, their worst enemy. Oops. So yeah. Oh, and yeah, this is the last one I got, number 214, and this is just a really great issue because it's the Avengers team as it is at this point taking on Ghost Rider, which is pretty fun. And Ghost Rider really, I mean, Ghost Rider versus Thor is pretty powerful versus Iron Man. So I mean, he really just takes them all for a ride. So yeah. So there you go. So that was pretty good. So for all those comics, that was $5.50. So that was a pretty good deal. And now I'm going to fill in the gap between the 2 sets. Hopefully that's not going to cost me an arm or a leg. Sometimes that's where it starts to get expensive.